Hello, everybody. Thank you for attending this webinar today. It's nice to see a broad audience from across the world. And so if you are outside the UK, greetings from London. It's a beautiful sunny day, which is very rare over here. And we're enjoying the view out the window. So welcome to this webinar on plagiarism, and particularly Epigeum's solution to training your students. I'm going to start by just telling you a little bit about who we are, about Epigeum, what we do, and the unique way in which we build our courses. Then we're going to talk a little bit about plagiarism and how it can be avoided, and then we're going to give you demonstrations of our product solution to this problem. So my name's David Lefebvre. I'm a co-founder of Epigeum. We came out of Imperial College in 2005 with the aim of producing very high quality online courses specifically for higher education. So we now work with about 235 universities. We're a leading publisher of online courses. Our aim is to transform the way in which universities and colleges support their core activities of research, teaching and learning. We've got about 78 online courses across 12 different programs of courses, and plagiarism is one of ours. So we work with a broad range of universities. We work with about 36% of the Times Higher Education Top 100 universities. We currently have 5 new programs in development. 75% of UK education institutions have purchased our courses, including 95% of the Russell Group members. But we're not a UK-orientated company anymore. If you take a look at this slide, we work with about 230 universities worldwide, and we help universities implement innovative online training solutions, such as this course in plagiarism we're going to talk about today. And here are some of the universities we work with, just to give you an idea. So this next slide is how we develop our courses, and this is quite unique. The basic idea is that we bring universities together to build courseware together. That's the idea. We learned at Imperial College that building courses, one university building courses, is too costly. And we can build courses more cheaply and to a much higher quality when universities come together. We work with leading subject authors. So in any subject, we look around the world and try and find the leading authors in the field. Our courses are reviewed, and this means tested with students repeatedly. And then the courses are adjusted until they're as effective as they can be. And we'll show you some student feedback later in this presentation. And they're built around a pedagogically sound structure that we've developed over years. So why a course on avoiding plagiarism? Well, you probably know the answer to this. It's been an issue for a very long time. It remains a common problem in universities. And perhaps the main thing is it is painful for those of us who work in higher education. It's not pleasant having to inform a student that they have plagiarized, and it's even more unpleasant for the student who receives that message. What we found is that plagiarism is often unintentional. Of course, there are instances of students using essay banks and plagiarizing intentionally, but many aspects of plagiarism are unintentional. So a training solution which explains how accidental plagiarism happens, a course which creates positive message about the importance of academic integrity, can prove more successful than simply punishing students. And that's what this course is about, really. If people take our online courseware solution, they'll have a greater understanding of what plagiarism is, why it's important, and how to avoid it, how to avoid both intentional and perhaps more importantly, unintentional plagiarism. So what is the solution that we've developed? Well, our product here is called Avoiding Plagiarism. It's a concise but comprehensive course on how to avoid plagiarism and how to correctly use citations and references. Used in conjunction with its accompanying online learning system or your own VLE, your own institution's VLE or LMS, this course will give you the assurance that all your students have been adequately prepared for their assignments. In shorter form, this is a very simple to use online course and online system that gives you the assurance that all of your students have been trained sufficiently in plagiarism. The second point on this slide relates to negligence claims. An unfortunate development recently is universities being sued by students when they're failed for plagiarism instances. And the claim is always that students have not been adequately prepared. So implementing this system can give you some protection against such claims. Okay, so how is the course system used? Well, this slide shows how our system is worked. So option 1 at the top here, you can use our online system and get started straight away. So there's 4 steps. Starting from the left-hand side here, you direct students to the Avoiding Plagiarism website, ask them to complete the course. Next step, students then register using their university email and study the course. Next step, students bring their certificates to class. Or you can log on to the system and see who's completed. So what we've tried to do here is create a very simple system that doesn't have a great deal of administration behind it. Once you license the course, you can go straight into class and get your students started. However, there's a second option, option 2 here, which is to implement the course into your VLE or LMS. So the course is designed to slot into systems such as Blackboard, Moodle, Sakai, Desire to Learn, Campus, etc. We work with all these systems, and we will help you implement the system via your VLE. Then students log on to your VLE and you view system reports through your system. Perhaps one advantage of option 2 is that you can tailor the course to your institution. You can provide your own links, your own explanations, etc. So those are the 2 ways. Option 1, very simple. Option 2, perhaps a little bit more difficult, but you can bespoke it to your own institution. What does the course look like? Well, here's some of the content and the features. We're going to give a full demonstration on the next slide. So here, perhaps we'll just look very, very quickly. We've got diagnostic and assessment tests, so students can assess their knowledge and test their knowledge. We have the student views, which again we think is very important. Plenty of examples for students to look at and practice. Comic strips with narratives showing how plagiarism can happen. Practice exercises, scenarios. So it's highly interactive, multimedia experience for the students. And now we'll go into a demonstration and show you this system. And I'll hand over to my colleague Emma, who is the lead on developing this course.
Thanks, David. Hi, everyone. I'm just going to give a brief demonstration of some of the screens and features of the online course. Starting off here, this is the portal that students who are using the online course will access the course through. So they would access the course like this. So I'm going to take you to the first main screen of the course, and I'll begin by highlighting a couple of features that are relevant to all of our courses and screens. So at the top of every screen we have a learning outcome. So students are aware of what's going to be covered in the screen and what they should have learned or should be able to do after completing the screen. We also offer an estimated duration, so here it's 6 minutes, so students have an idea of how long it's likely to take to work through the screen. Moving into the main content here, this screen really introduces the student voice into the course. So we start with a text entry activity in which students taking the course can consider some key questions about plagiarism and make a note of their answers. And this encourages reflection on their own existing knowledge, and encouraging the students to note down their thoughts helps to keep the learning active. They then move into a video in which real students give their thoughts on the same questions. We try to use video as much as possible in our courses because we do think it helps to bring the material to life. This particular instance offers users the opportunity to compare and contrast their own responses to the questions with those of the students in the video. The video is short and it's a vox pop style, so it's engaging and interesting for students, and they can hear what their peers have to say on the subject. I think it's worth noting here that all of our videos have transcripts, and on another sort of accessibility note, all of our course screens have a text version, so the course is fully accessible for those using screen readers or those who just can't use the interactive version for whatever reason. Taking you back to the interactive screen, you'll see that on the right-hand side of all of our course screens, we have little boxes or pods, which contain supplementary information, links, definitions, activities, and so on. This one here is an optional activity pod. So these invite students taking the course to extend or apply or reflect on their learning in some way. And in this case, we've suggested that students set up a discussion group with other students taking the course so that they can discuss issues that come up as the course progresses. And this can really help e-learning students feel like they're more of a learning community. So onto the next screen, and I've chosen this screen as it shows off one of the really nice features of this course, which is a comic strip helping to explain a key learning point. So in this case, poor old Tekla has written down a third-party quotation in his notes without a reference. He goes on to reproduce the quotation in his essay as though it was his own words, and he's picked up for plagiarism by his teacher. We've had feedback from students who've taken the previous version of this course and requesting more imagery, and we've certainly found these comic strips to be very effective and engaging in other Epigean programmes. And there are 3 comic strips in the Avoiding Plagiarism course. There's also a really nice example of one of our interactive activities down here. This is a decision tree in which students taking the course can follow to help them decide how to appropriately quote, paraphrase, cite and reference third-party material. So they're asked whether their work contains any third-party material, and then they answer the questions yes or no to find out the correct course of action. So if they've used exact words, those words need quotation marks and a citation or a reference, and paraphrases need to be accurate in meaning, sufficiently different from the individual, and they also need a citation and a reference. And this activity really helps to build up a thought process that will help ensure that students always quote, paraphrase, cite and reference correctly. So the next screen I wanted to show you is an example of a screen providing an opportunity for students to apply, test and consolidate their learning. So it's an end of unit quiz. There are 2 quizzes on this screen drawing together all the concepts covered in this unit. So there's a multiple choice quiz in which the user is presented with an example piece of material, and then they're asked to decide whether or not they would need to acknowledge that material if they used it within their own work. So users can see their score build up as they work through the quiz, and they receive feedback on every answer that they give. The second activity presents students with a piece of academic writing followed by various revisions of the text, and students have to decide whether each revision constitutes plagiarism or acceptable usage. And again, feedback is provided for every example. This kind of interactivity is a really great way to keep students engaged, and it helps them to apply the principles they've learnt to some real-world examples. And you'll notice that students can select an appropriate disciplinary area from this activity menu, so they get to work through some examples that are more relevant to their course of study. So the next screen I wanted to show you was this one on citations and references. So this screen helps to explain the differences between citations and references and how to compile them. So the first activity on the screen gives an opportunity for students to practice inserting the correct citation for a variety of different sources, books, journals, websites, chapters within edited collections, etc. So examples are taken from a variety of disciplines. They read the passage, they insert the correct citation, or what they think is the correct citation, and then they can check their answer. The second activity helps students to understand all the different elements of an academic reference, again for a variety of different materials. So they click on the highlighted section and they can learn a little bit more about that element of the reference. So this activity covers both Harvard and numeric styles. And again, the examples are taken from a variety of different disciplines, so all students are catered for. You'll see that there are quite a few pods on this screen. So the first is a useful links pod. There are quite a few of these throughout the course, and they offer links to useful online resources for students to consult. This is a great way of providing an opportunity to explore topics in a bit more depth without bloating the core course material. And we create these pods in such a way that the links can be replaced if and when they become inactive. We also have your context pods. So in default mode, these encourage students to go away and find out about their institutional or departmental guidelines in relation to a particular learning point. But these pods are actually customizable. So universities can insert institution-specific text or links to institutional resources, so students have all the necessary information to hand within the course. And finally on this screen, I just wanted to show you the Do This icon. We've used this as a means of highlighting points of particular importance for students, just to focus their attention. And the final screen I'm going to show you is right at the end of the course. It's our Plagiarism in the News screen. So the idea here is to provide links to a variety of articles about real-life cases of plagiarism, both to pique students' interest and show them how damaging the consequences of plagiarism can be. And again, this page is hosted by Epigeum, so articles can be swapped or removed as and when the links become inactive. So I hope that's given you a bit of a taste of the course content and some of the pedagogical features. Do feel free to jot down any questions. I'm going to pass you back to David now to continue with the presentation.
Okay, thank you, Emma. Let's go back to the presentation. Okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit more about the course. Then we're going to we'll have a section at the end where we can take some questions, any questions you have. So a key question here is who is the course for? Well, the course is designed for undergraduate and taught postgraduate students. So it's probably not applicable for doctoral students, well, not directly applicable, but it's very useful for undergraduate and master's level students. The course is suited for all discipline areas. So as Emma showed you, there's discipline tracks for different subjects. And the course is accessible to both home and international students. So we've designed the course so it's accessible for non-native speakers of English as well as native speakers of English. So what's the feedback from students? Because we've been running this course for a while. We've been surveying students, and two key statistics are as follows. So 96% of students state this course to be effective in improving their understanding of how to avoid plagiarism. So that's probably the key stat there. 85% of the students state the quality of the course be either high or very high. So hopefully this should give you assurance that if you adopt this course, then your students will believe that they've been trained sufficiently and that they've improved their understanding of how to avoid plagiarism. Here's some quotes that we pulled from our system. So if you look at the first one, we have incredibly useful. The next one was one of my favorites. I'll no longer be so anxious about turning in essays. I think with the use of plagiarism detection software, we've created a situation where students have anxiety regarding turning in their essays, and this course can really help. The third one we plucked because a feeling that's common throughout our usage of this is that students don't feel that the plagiarism has been explained to them effectively in the past. So I think that's a key issue. And the final quote here, I believe this course is perfect for undergraduate students who may have some difficulty with the topic in hand. The issue of plagiarism, how it occurs, how to reference and use citations correctly is a non-trivial task. And I think sometimes we might teach students this rather briefly. And I think the lessons that we've learned is that a thorough course of this type can really help with this situation. Okay, so now we have the online system. So it's a course and an online system. The online system has a student view, which is very simple. Basically, if you license this software, then any student with an email address from your institution can register. That's how it works. And once they register, they'll see the course, and the students complete the course. They get a certificate. As a university administrator, you can log on to the course and see who's completed what. So that's how the online course works. And the design principle is to minimize administration for you. So there's no long lists of passwords to be sent out, for example. It's very simple. What support is available? Well, I think this is absolutely key. What we want to do is make it very simple for you to implement this course. So we provide you with all the technical support you require. We also give you organizational support. If you haven't done this kind of online training before, then we can give you a lot of support on how to do it effectively. And a lot of this is sharing knowledge from across institutions. So that's the final presentation slide here. Hopefully you've been impressed by the course. We've convinced you this is an effective solution, and perhaps most importantly, convinced you this is a very simple solution to a very challenging problem. So I'll stop the presentation there, and I'll take any questions now. So if you have any questions for myself or for Emma, then please type these into the text box. So got a question here from Peter, one for Emma, I think. So can you amend the course to use styles other than Harvard?
So the examples in the course are generally using Harvard or numeric style, but the principles covered apply across most of the different styles. We have the Your Context pods, which are customizable, so you can insert the style that your institution would use. Also, if you choose to download the course into your VLE, you can hide certain course screens and create screens of your own. So if you've got quite specific style requirements, you might choose to create a screen of your own to display them.
Great. Okay. Oh, so this is a very important one from Jose. So what's the cost? So if you go to our website, there's a price list here. So www.epigm.com. Go to epigm.com, which is our website, course catalogue. Go to studying, And here's the Avoiding Plagiarism course here. So if you click on here, you can read more about the course at your leisure. Okay, here's the pricing structure here on the right-hand side. And perhaps most important thing is if you're interested in learning more about this course, then please contact Wendy, who's in our sales team. And you can see Wendy's email at the top here. These links also go to Wendy. You can see a preview of the course on your own here. This link goes to Wendy. So if you're interested in this course, then please go to our website, read a bit more about it, and contact Wendy for more information. Okay, so I've got another question from Amit here. So to what extent can this course be applied to research students? Well, I mean, it's designed for master's students, and master's students tend to do a research project. It's perfect for the master's students doing a research project. It hasn't been designed specifically for PhD students. I mean, the principles are identical. You know, whether you're writing a PhD thesis or whether you're writing a master's thesis, the principles of plagiarism don't change. So PhD students could certainly learn about plagiarism effectively from this course, but the examples are more geared towards, I'd say they're more geared towards masters and undergrad. One more question from Amit here, a question for Emma here, I think. Does it include various citation styles?
Yes, there's certainly reference to the different ways in which you would format your citation according to which referencing system you were using. And there are lots of different examples of the different ways in which you'd cite for different kinds of material. And again, there is the capacity to customize by adding to the pods or adding your own screens to the course.
Great. Okay, we've got a question here from Maria. Should the course be useful for law students? So I'm assuming it's yes, but I'll pass on to Emma for that one.
I would imagine that the principles that are outlined in the course will be exactly the same for law students, but probably the best thing for you to do would be to organise a trial of the course or do a preview of the course and check the content. But the principles should really apply across all disciplines.
Great. So I've got a next question from Avi. Is it possible for students to log on with private email addresses? Yes, that is possible. So the simplest way is you subscribe to this online course system, and then any student with an institutional email can register for free. But there's another way you can do it. You can buy a token. So you could buy a token for 150 students, say, and then you just email this token to the students, and then they could log on with any email address they wanted to. So is it possible to log on with students' private email addresses? Yeah, the answer to that is yes. We've got a question from Emma here. So from Benjamin here, Benjamin Soon. How do you change the course? Well, the course is designed to an open standard called the IMS Common Cartridge, and it consists of a series of screens. And it's been designed so that you can add your own screens. So, for example, many universities add their own welcome screen. You know, welcome to this University of Sydney course on plagiarism, etc. So you can add a screen. You can delete a screen. So, you know, if there's a screen on a topic which isn't relevant to your university, you can delete a screen. Thirdly, you can move the screens around. So if a particular section is more important for you, then you can move that section to the front. And then finally, some of the screens are editable. So Emma talked about the Your Context pod. That's an editable part of the course. So you can add links to your own institutional resources there, etc. So those are the four things you can do. You can add screens, delete screens, move screens, and some of the screens you can edit. Thank you, Emma, from Peter in Wagga Wagga, Australia. Yeah. We do a lot of work in Australia. So greetings, Peter. Thank you for staying up so late. Yeah. We know the time difference issues because we travel to Oz quite a bit. Okay, so the next question is again from Peter for Emma, I think. So, does the material on paraphrasing allow one to distinguish between what must be paraphrased and what cannot be paraphrased because it is an irreducible formulation, e.g., in science, a formula, etc.?
Oh, that's an interesting question. If I show you, I'll just show you briefly our activity on paraphrasing, and if I don't answer your question, then perhaps we could email about this. This is our activity on paraphrasing. So they're given an example passage, then they're given two example paraphrases of that passage, and then they're given feedback on why the correct paraphrase is correct. And it certainly covers the issue of not needing to cite or reference something that is already common knowledge. I'm not sure it directly covers this scientific angle of the irreducible formulation.
Maybe we should add it.
Yeah, we could add it, or that's something that could be added on a new screen. But yeah, if I haven't answered that correctly, then I'd be very happy to email about that later.
Okay. So the next question is from Jose. So language options other than English. Well, at the moment, the course is available in English and German. So from your name, Jose, I'm guessing that the German doesn't help you too much. But the reason the German course came about was because there's a few large universities in Switzerland wanted to use the course. And so we worked with them to translate it into German. So it's possible for us to make other language versions. But at the moment, it's just in English and German. Here we have a question from Sujit, and the question is, how many practice exercises are given in the course, and can a student also check their own plagiarism by using this learning tool? So I can answer the second part. Can students check their own plagiarism? The answer to that is no. I mean, I think that's where systems such as Turnitin come in. The idea is that this course and software solution explains plagiarism and tells students how they can avoid it. But it's often used alongside systems such as Turnitin, where they can check their plagiarism. The first question, how many practice exercises, I'll pass on to Emma.
Yes, I was just quietly totting it up in my head. I would say there are probably a good 10 interactive activities where students are given an example and they've got to do something with that example, or other form of interactive activity, testing their knowledge or getting them to practice citing, referencing, understanding what is plagiarism and what isn't. So at least 10 exercises throughout the course.
So this is a question from Maria, a key question. So how many hours are the students expected to spend on the course? So the course is a 60-minute course. So if the students study it thoroughly, which we hope they do, then it's a 60-minute course. We have a question from Amit here. Should some students want to redo the course for clarity? Is it possible? Yeah, the answer to that is yes. So they can retake the course as many times as they like. The idea here is that students study the course once, preferably at the beginning of their studies, and then at the time that they need to submit an assignment, they can go back and read certain sections, etc. So the idea is that the course is available to students for the duration of their studies. Okay, well, thank you for all of your questions. I think we should include some of these questions in the presentation going forward. But thanks very much. I hope you enjoyed the plagiarism presentation. We really tried to build a great course and create a very simple solution for you. So next steps, if you'd like to know more about the course, or maybe arrange a trial or talk about translation, then please contact Wendy Harbottle. I believe you have her address in the email you received, but you can also find Wendy on the Avoiding Plagiarism homepage. You can see her contact here at the top. So look forward to hearing from you. Hope you enjoyed the presentation, and thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
Okay, bye everybody. Bye.